In a land of dense forests, mighty rivers, and open plains, where the eagle soared above the great mountains, and the deer roamed freely beneath the shadows of towering trees, there existed mysteries untold to the common eye. Here, nature ruled with her boundless energy, and yet, there was something to learn from every whisper of the wind and ripple of the stream. It was in this wilderness that a group of young learners began to seek out the truths that lay hidden within the very world around them, truths about the movement of energy, the weight of things, and the way warmth traveled through all of nature's creatures and creations. The sun was setting, casting a golden light across the hills, when their guide, an old woodsman wise in the ways of both science and the wilderness, beckoned them to the river's edge. "Look closely," said he, "for here lies a lesson in the way energy moves from one part of the world to another." The students knelt by the river, observing how the water flowed swiftly over the rocks. "When you dip your hand into this stream," he said, "you feel its coolness, but the water itself is in constant motion. Each particle, each tiny bit of water, moves with its own speed. What you feel as coolness is the motion of these particles slowing down as they meet your warm skin." One student, curious, asked, "But why does it feel cooler? Does the energy just disappear?" The old woodsman smiled. "Ah, no. Energy, you see, cannot vanish. It can only change from one form to another or move from one place to another. When you feel the cool water, the warmth of your hand is shared with the water's particles. As they gain this warmth, they move a little faster, and your hand loses a bit of its heat. This transfer of energy is what we measure when we speak of temperature." The students looked puzzled, so the guide spoke again. "Let me explain. Imagine each tiny drop of water as being filled with hundreds of invisible dancers, each one moving at their own pace. Some move quickly, while others slow down as they bump into rocks or touch the cold air above. The faster the dancers move, the warmer that part of the river feels. And when your hand touches it, your own warmth is shared, helping their dance speed up. That's what we call kinetic energy, the energy of motion. The temperature is like a way of counting how fast these dancers are moving." The students began to understand. "But what about the weight of the water?" asked another student. "How does that matter?" "That is a fine question," the woodsman replied, nodding approvingly. "If you were to take a large bucket of this river water, it would weigh much more than a small cup of the same water. The amount, or mass of the water affects how much energy is needed to change its temperature. The greater the mass, the more energy is required to make those dancers speed up or slow down. A small amount of water heats up faster because there are fewer dancers to share the energy. But with a large amount, there are more dancers, and it takes longer for all of them to get moving at the same pace." With that, the students began to see how energy, mass, and temperature were all tied together. They understood now that by observing the world, whether it was the coolness of the river, the warmth of a fire, or even the heat from the sun, they could learn about the invisible dance of particles, a dance that was governed by the laws of nature herself. The woodsman then guided them to build a small fire, showing how the warmth from the burning logs was another way that energy moved. "This fire," he said, "is not unlike the sun that gives life to these forests. When wood burns, the stored energy within it is released, moving into the air, warming the space around it. You can feel the warmth because the energy from the fire is shared with the particles in the air, and they begin to move faster, spreading the heat in all directions." The students gathered close, feeling the heat on their faces as they thought about the unseen particles moving faster and faster. "In this way," the woodsman continued, "you can carry out your own investigations. Whether you hold a cup of warm tea or step into a cold stream, remember the energy moving between you and the world around you. Use models in your mind, like dancers or waves, to help you understand. Picture the way heat spreads through the air, or how the sun warms the earth each day. By doing this, you will come to know nature's secrets, and like true explorers, you will uncover the patterns of energy that bind the world together." As the stars began to twinkle in the sky, the students knew they had learned something deeper than mere words could express. They had learned to see the world with new eyes, eyes that could observe the smallest details of how energy moved through the great web of life, always shifting, always transforming, but never lost. And so they returned to their homes, knowing that the journey of discovery had only just begun.